Hey guys, how are you? It's me, Lauren. Welcome to the Untitled Tarot. Today is one of those videos that I never anticipate filming, that I'm told that I have to film, and that I fight kicking and screaming the whole way until they actually get me in front of my camera in which to do so. You'd think after numerous videos of me crying in my car over my death processes, I would be more comfortable sharing my personal experiences, but yet, alas, I'm not. The veil's pretty thin. We have the new moon eclipse in Sagittarius. I just did the Sagittarius reading today, and it felt like very, very collective, just like the Capricorn reading that I did. I'm sweating. I'm like, I don't want to do it. Don't make me. Just like the Capricorn reading I did was very collective. And there's just been like these signs and synchronicities like all week. Obviously there's been a lot, like I feel like all the readers are doing a lot more collective messages right now. There's all of these like higher dimensional beings that are like coming through for a lot of people, and part of what is happening to me and my body is I'm becoming I'm a channel, no pun intended with the YouTube, but I'm a channel obviously for energy and all kinds of things, but I'm becoming, I guess, more of like an open channel, not just from my higher self or my angels or my guides, but for like other consciousnesses, like coming through. Rob he just did a video about like anxiety and stuff, which is a great video, and he was saying that, you know, as light workers, oftentimes we always like point the finger at ourselves, right? It's always like, you're doing something, do more shadow work, like there's something going on with you, like what's your shit, you know, like deal with your stuff. But a lot of times like we pick up other energies and they can make you feel like really anxious, and so that's been happening to me all week. And then there was a video from San, I think she came out like a year or so ago, I don't even remember, and it was about like open channelings, like a lot of like Abraham Hicks, like a lot of that kind of stuff, and how it gets like really exhausting to your physical body. And so I've been experiencing that over the last little bit, getting these like huge waves of anxiety that aren't really mine, realizing that I'm like tapping into channeling like other vibrational energies, and then afterwards I'm just like spent. I'm like a rag doll. But with all of this stuff coming in, my angels, my guides, somebody really wants me to share my personal journey with higher dimensional beings, which I don't. It's like, I guess for me, I have my decks. I'm not pulling cards, but I'm just I'm going to just like prep my decks. They're all like out of order because I've just got done doing all the weeklies, so it's something to keep my my monkey mind busy, so my mind and my spirit can talk. So I hope that you don't mind that so much. So they want me to share like some of these experiences that I've had with my journey about like higher vibrational beings and how I came into contact with them and some of like my shit. So I guess I'm gonna do that because they won't leave me alone until I do. So I had posted a video on the community tab a couple days ago. I think it was on the 12th. Yeah, I think it was like 2 days ago. And it was this video that I had made. I'm missing this. Oh, here it is. I was like, I'm missing the 6. That I had posted a year ago, almost a year ago to the day, on December 11th in my old house. This was before I like got like the influx of all of my upgrades. It was before I started my channel. It was like before everything, because people just been mentioning my ukulele to me, and so I was like, all right, I mean, I'll just put, you know, it's like signs, synchronicities, domino. So I found the video, I posted the video. You guys are really sweet about that video. And I was looking at it, and you know, it like brought me to tears when I rewatched it, because I just remember the place that I was in when I filmed that video. It was after my brain cracked open and like my first ascension started, and I had like this big miracle blessing come in for me that God had given me, and I was so grateful. I'm still so grateful for that, that allowed me to live in that house at the time. And then in the process of living in that house, I had gotten really sick. I spent time in the hospital. Like there were like there's all this shit, you know, it's just shit that happened to me. And when I filmed that video, it was like right at the precipice of me like getting back on my feet. And so I was watching that video and I was thinking, wow, you know, like I was in so much pain when I filmed that video. Like I look like cool, like strum my ukulele, but I like remember like the day that I filmed that, and like not only was I in so much like physical pain, but I was in so much emotional pain. Like it was it was like beyond a dark night of the soul. Like I don't have like actual physical words to express accurately like where I'm missing the 10 now. Fuck. Oh, here it is. What I was going through at that time. And after I had filmed that video, it was like a series of events that had occurred that really led to my experience with higher dimensional beings, and me really getting the upgrade in my abilities, even realizing that I had abilities other than just like, I kind of know that was going to happen before it did, right? So in that place, I was being basically spiritually ripped, like a new one, in a variety of different ways. And I guess I needed like a safe place. I needed like a safe place to go, like in my mind. So it's like I imagined this place, and I'm sure like this has to be for someone, otherwise they wouldn't be making me do this. I imagined this like safe place in my mind, and I kind of don't want to get into like the exact geographics of it, because it just feels like super personal to me, and that's my boundary. But at night I would get violently stoned, and I would sit there, I would lay in bed and I would meditate, and I'd have my music on. That's when I started doing like the shufflemancy, but I didn't know it was shufflemancy yet. And I'd imagine this place in my mind, and it would stretch from basically like a certain seascape throughout like this wooden area, and it would lead to like another kind of watery area. And I would sit there and I would imagine it, and I would imagine it, and it'd just be like my safe place. It'd be my safe place to go. And then over time, that area like expanded. It's like I would go there the next night or a few nights after, and all of a sudden there was like new places. Like the territory had expanded into like caves, and the woods expanded, and there were like all these different things. And so in these meditations, I'd go and I'd start exploring it, right? Listening to my music, because music is often how you see it in the readings. Like the music comes up, like the music moves me. So it's how I channel a lot of energy. It's like a safe and comfortable way for me to do so. So I was finding that these territories were expanding, and I was exploring them, right? But it was like always just me. It was always just me. And then at the precipice of my like first really serious rebirth, there was a point where they had me sort of walk through this forest, this wooded area. There was like a big path in it, and there were these images of me, right, throughout my life, like me as a child, like me after I experienced like some kind of abuse or trauma, like me when I was in like my really superficial phase, me from a few months past, like all these different versions of me like on the sidelines, and I'd be like walking past them, and they'd almost be like looking at me. It's like these old versions of myself were staring back at me, right, as I was like moving forward. And it led to like this big like rock wall. It was like this big mountain, and in these meditations they'd be having me to climb up these mountains, and like I wouldn't always make it up the side, right? I oftentimes didn't make it up to the side, but then at some point I made it up. And when I had gotten up there, it was like the most incredible thing I'd ever seen in my life. It was like open. It was like this open land at the top of this mountain, like, and there was just this fresh air like I had never felt before in my waking life. And it's like I looked in front of me, and it was like this archway, and I remember for a long time I couldn't get through the archway, like through like the opening, and then over a course of time I was able to make my way through. And in that, it was like this huge like palace, is like a hall. And it came to me one night in a dream, and then I had returned to it later on in one of those meditations. It was like I couldn't get in, and then I had a dream where I was in there, like not just through the archway, through the gateway, but I was actually like in the place. And then the next night in my meditation, they like let me into the place, and it was basically, it felt like a huge like hall of records, basically. Like a big library. And I don't know if these are just like symbolisms that like were specific to me, but I remember it just being like almost like a library, like books or like files or like something. And it occurred to me that it was sort of like it was like Akashic Records, but I didn't even know what that was at that point. I didn't know what Akashic Records were at that point. I was just like, this is weird. So, you know, eventually over time through these music meditations and these like dream walking things that I was doing, I ended up following the yellow brick road all the way down the hall. And eventually, and this was during one of my waking meditations, sorry, so I'm probably all over the place, but it's like, it's really hard and weird and different for me to communicate this to other living people. Good tarot. Let's situate the good tarot. And eventually in one of my waking meditations, I had Ace of Cups. Wonderful. Thank you guys. I had eventually, it's almost like by accident. It felt like it was by accident. I like wandered into this huge room, and it was almost like in Harry Potter when in like the Great Hall, like the ceiling is like enchanted a little bit, right? It's like you look up, but it's like there actually isn't a ceiling. It almost looks like enchanted. And it was just like so bright, and it was so white, and everything was like silver and like this white gold. But I remember it being like kind of like, it was incredibly loud, like almost like the humming of like a swarm of bees. Like, you know, when you go in a room and it's like everyone's talking and it's like you can't differentiate what anyone's saying, so it's like all the sounds kind of muddle together, almost like a buzzing, like a humming, but at the same time it felt incredibly like still and peaceful and quiet. And there were these almost like these semicircles, like these crescents, right? And they were like almost like pews, but it felt more like in a symposium or something, right? And there's all these people, and some are sitting and most are standing, and they all look so different. They all look so strange, right? Almost like animalistic in like a lot of ways, right? Like, as I said, pull an animal card. They almost like animalistic, right? Like some of them looked like lions, and like some of them like had features that were like birds, and some of them looked like a little like humanoid-esque. Like it was very strange, and it was very, very strange. And so it's like they're kind of like this, like all these pews, and people are standing up and people are talking, and right, and then there's more of those like behind me, and there's this big like open center, right? And it's almost like the floor was like marble. It was like marble and like glass, and it was the craziest thing. And there's almost like some kind of like well, all right. I was like, how do I describe it? And then they just showed me my Bible, and it almost looks like something kind of like this circle with like this on the floor, like in the middle, almost like an emblem. And you know, there were kind of like pews, almost felt like a courthouse. Almost like a courthouse or something, a little bit, you know. It's almost like there was supposed to be like a judge or something. And this was before I was just like, I think spirit guides are a thing. Like, I had no idea what the fuck I was talking about. Like, I didn't even know Jesus. Like, I didn't know anything, and I didn't know anyone. I only followed like 4 tarot readers. I followed Water Baby Tarot, Sand Tarot, and like, I don't know, that was it. Allie's Tarot, that was it. And so it really like started to freak me out. And then all of a sudden, it's almost like everyone got very quiet, and they started looking at me, and I felt like I heard them talking to me. But it was like, how do I explain it? It's like there's so many of them, and they all look so different, right? Almost like different like breeds, right? Like almost like different like races, like different like spiritual races. And I didn't like know what the hell was going on, and I felt like someone was talking to me, but nobody was like moving their lips, right? It was like sort of like this telepathic communication. And like some of these beings like kind of like came forward to me. They're gonna put me in the fucking loony bin if I post this video, I swear to God. I should not post this video. They're gonna throw me in jail. And that's a water card, not an earth card, Lauren. You get like agitated talking about this, makes me so uncomfortable. But any video that I know I'm like supposed to make always like agitates me and makes me very uncomfortable before I post it. That's like all of them. And like these beings kind of come forward to talk to me. Like I said, they're not moving their lips, but it's like telepathic, and they look like cats. Like they look like lions or something. It's like very odd, but they kind of look like people too. It's like, it was very strange for me. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, where the fuck am I? I'm like, where am I? And I heard them say the High Council. I was like, what is that? What the fuck's a High Council? And nobody explained it to me. Nobody explained shit to me. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, it's beautiful here, but I don't know what I'm doing here. I almost felt like I like wandered in. Like, it's like you wandered into like a conference room, like you weren't supposed to go in, right? It's like you're looking for the bathroom or you're looking for the cafeteria. You end up wandering into like an important meeting and you're like, oh, I'm not supposed to be here. That's literally what it felt like. That's what it felt like. I don't know if I was supposed to wander in there, but I wandered in there. And I was like, okay, well, what do you want me to do? What do I do here? Like, I'm sorry for interrupting you. And they're like, we want you to dance. And I was like, what the fuck is that? You want me to dance? It's like, that's weird. And it almost reminded me of, like that movie Dazed and Confused. And it's like at the end of the movie and the one guy in the back seat, he's like, well, what are you gonna do now? And he's like, I'm gonna dance, man. And I was like, you want me to dance? And that kind of annoyed me because I was like, I'm nobody's puppet. Like, what do you mean you want me to dance? And this was, like I said, this is during one of like my waking meditations. So I had my music on, and that's when, they're gonna throw me in jail when I tell this story. That's when that song Dance Monkey Dance came on. And I've mentioned that in my Sunday service, like I think the first one that I ever did, about how that's like my, I want to say hype music, but it's not my hype music. It's like when that song randomly just comes on, like, and it will come on randomly, like for no reason. I know that's like them telling me like, step up, like time to go. Like, it's almost like, it's like training day, basically. That's like kind of what it feels. I actually think I did a Taurus reading called Training Day, and Taurian energy has been coming up for me like the last couple days. I think because it's representative of the Hierophant. I think, I don't know. I'm not, I don't have I have no answers. I know nothing, Jon Snow. So the song Dance Monkey Dance came on, and I'm in my old house, right? So this is like a walking meditation. But at this point I'm like tranced out. And so I start dancing, right? And I was a dancer for years. I realized part of the reason why I was guided to dance when I was young for so long is because it was like a positive expression of my energy that I in no way had like a way to get out or express in any other way. The Emperor. And so they had me dance, and that was fine because, I mean, whatever, I used to get stoned and just dance around my house anyway, so, okay. And this was time when I was, like, really into music, and I was writing music, and I was playing music, and I was, going through my death process and all this shit. So, and, like, as I'm dancing, and it's almost like I said, I was like, I'm not your, like, monkey, like, I don't want to, like, dance monkey. I was like, I don't want to, like, but it's almost like something came over me, and so I just, like, found myself doing it in this trance state, and as I did it, it's almost like there was like all this like energy and all of this like light that like started coming out of me. And as I was doing it, eventually it's almost like they danced me outside, almost like I was doing a bad job or something. Like danced me outside into it, and it was I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like at the top of a water tower or like a lighthouse or something. It's almost like there was like this border, like this like almost like metal fencing or something like around me in this like big circle. And I go out there in this trance light state, and all I see is like the universe. Like I just see like open space and like stars, and I like look over it and I see the earth, and that's freaky, right? I'm afraid of heights, y'all. So, and then I see them, and they're like dancing, and they're basically, I guess they were teaching me how to do energy work, because as I continued on, and this was a series that they like had me do like consistently over the course of like months, I saw like little lights like on the earth, almost like little Christmas lights, and they started like twinkling, like turning on, like in dark places, like they started turning on, and it's only after the fact that I realized that they were sort of teaching me how to do like energy work, like in the collective, like in the grid, like whatever. So that was like kind of what was happening to me, and I didn't really know, honestly. I just thought I was smoking too much pot, honestly. I was like, something weird's going on, but I'm probably just getting like way too stoned, honestly, which is funny because that shit still happens, and I don't smoke pot anymore, so maybe I should start. And so as the story goes, over time, I'm doing my thing. I don't even own any tarot decks at this point. Actually, yes, I do. Do I? Yeah, but I'm only using them sometimes. And I'm not doing reads for other people yet. And I'm still watching my tarot videos. And then all of a sudden, I had seen some videos from Water Baby Tarot, and she was talking about like intergalactic, like star seeds and blue rays, and I started watching Emmy Evolving at this point, and she was talking about blue rays, and like things started clicking for me a little bit. I was like, okay, like light workers, okay, like psychics, star seeds, blue rays, like wow. It's like, it's almost like terminology that sounded very familiar to me, but like I didn't know why. And then they had, my guides at this point had guided, funny, had guided me to this woman called Sia Lanu Estrella, and they had me start watching her video. I'm missing one. What is it? Oh, no, I'm not. It's right here. Huh. You guys are funny. They're like, calm down, Lauren. It's okay. I'm like, it's not okay. You're making me do this. Sia Lanu Estrella. And as I started to watch her, she is a channeler, a lot like Abraham Hicks and all that stuff. She wrote this book called The Rainbow Tablets. I have it down here, which I may or may not go and find for you. And she is an open channel for the High Council of Lyrans. And so Lyrans are like lion people. They're lion people. Just like there are Carturans that are like the bird people. There are like whale people, high dimensional intergalactic. I think Russell's doing that series right now. Fucking Russell. No, I shouldn't have watched his video. I started watching his series on it and it cracked something open in my head, and now they won't leave me alone about it. I blame it on him. No, I don't blame it on him. He's a wonderful, wonderful man. And so I think the next video in his series is about the whale people. And then the way she was like describing the energy, the frequencies, and she was doing these, like basically these open activations, pyramid activations, light language all these different things. And once I started watching her and learning from her and really just kind of involving myself in some of her process, I started having all of these like crazy experiences and these meditations and these visions and these translates and all of these like these upgrades in my abilities all of a sudden. And a lot of it felt like very fast. It felt like a lot of energy coming at me. Almost it felt like a lot like anxiety, because at that point I still didn't know like what like I was, and I didn't know how to like control my abilities, right? It's like you know, light workers, it's like we have all of these things, these gifts, the stuff that we can do, but it's like, you know, you have to learn how to control it, like almost how to like filter it sometimes, or funny, like you have to learn how to channel it. Otherwise it's just like a geyser, it just like gushes everywhere and you kind of feel like you're going insane. You're like, your head's floating off your body kind of thing. So at that point, like I didn't really have like the control of my skills or my abilities. So I was still learning that, but I was also kind of like trying to get my own like shit together, like dealing with my own traumas and all that kind of stuff. So it was just like a lot for me at once. It was a whole lot for me at once, but that's when I kind of realized that that was sort of my family tree, like my origin story, like where I sort of came from, like the root of my soul. I mean, I came from my mom, thank you, Denise, but you know what I mean, like the origins of my spirit. And then over time, these high council members, right, the ones that would reach out to me, my people, my fuzzy line people, they, you know, started having these conversations with me, things about the collective, things about myself, like what I was kind of supposed to be doing. Yeah. Different things like that. So, and if you watch them along with my guides at the time, what I thought were just like kind of blanket guides, they had encouraged me to start my YouTube channel. And then I think Awakening to Cindy had posted a video or something in the community tab about how she was like taking a break. And I was like, you know, it's, you know, I look up to you so much. And it was like not being able to trust like my own sovereignty and like my own guidance, that like, if Cindy wore cargo shorts and flip-flops, like I had to wear cargo shorts and flip-flops. And I was like, you know, it's so weird that you are saying you want to take a break. I was like, because I've been getting these messages that I'm supposed to start. I was like, this is so weird. And then Stan had posted a video, and I was basically like, start channel, like, do your thing. And I posted a comment on her video, and I was like, you know, I just posted something on Cindy's community tab, and now I'm seeing this, and it's like overwhelming synchronicities. And she was like, I was thinking of you. And I was like, okay, so all right, how many signs do you have to get? So I started my channel, and if you watch any of my older videos, I did these like kind of talkies, and I'd be like out in the backyard like pissy, and I'd be like yelling about my guides, you know, and I'd be like, I don't know what they want from me, and I don't know who they are, and I don't understand anything, and it's just like, it's just too much, and blah blah blah. Like, I just go on these tangents, like these just absolute tangents, like not being very nice to my guides. Not at all. And then, you know, eventually over time, I kind of like settled a little bit, like in my energy, like I got more oh, you belong over here. I got more confident in my skills and my abilities, and I just kind of started like getting into the flow, like the flow of what I do. I started doing like more collective work, because when I had first gotten those activations, I tried to like consciously do, because at that point I feel like I was more in like training. They were like kind of like monkey see, monkey do, dance, monkey dance, right? You guys are funny, I just realized that. Showing me how to do it, so that in my waking life, I would be trying to do it, but I'd find myself like very overwhelmed, very tired. I was almost feeling like I had like opened something to like lower vibrational energies, right? I hadn't built like enough skill, sovereignty, energetic control to like be doing energy work on the behalf of the collective. Like, it was doing more harm to me than I was doing good for the collective. So they had me step back on that, just work on myself, right? Just work on my channel, do my thing. So thus I did my thing. And then around, I don't know, like maybe like July, something like that, I had gotten those indications like, hey, like, you should go get yourself a Bible. And I was like, me? A Bible? Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Because last time I checked, I got kicked out of Catholic school. So I was like, I have my bag of crystals, and I'm gonna hang out with those. Like, I'm not gonna get a Bible. What are you, high? I know I am, but are you high? And they were like, get a Bible. And that's how they kind of brought me to the Word on Fire Bible that I used in Sunday service, which eventually we'll probably return back to, but not right now. And so I started reading my Bible, and I was like, okay, like I'm picking up what you're throwing down. Like, I'm seeing some synchronicities here. I'm catching your flow over there, right? I see you, Jesus. Like, I see you. And I had like a real weird relationship with Jesus because of Catholic school. Like, I always felt like I'll never be as good as Jesus. So like, I don't want to look at Jesus, right? He makes me feel bad about myself. You know, which is like funny to say, but you know, that's how a lot of people feel. And then, so I went on my journey with Jesus. So I've been on my journey with Jesus for a long time. And then I was like, you know, kind of wondering, like, who are my guides? I had hit that like sassy point that I had gotten to at my old house. I was like, how long is this video? I had hit that sassy point where I was like, who are you? I was like, who's talking to me? Honestly, I was like, and I mentioned this a little bit in my live last night when I did it for the new moon of the all signs. I was like, who are you? I was like, you're always talking to me. You're flickering the lights. You're always telling me what to do. And I don't even know your name. I was like, you know every thought that's in my head. I was like, but meanwhile, I don't even know your name. You know, I was being like that about it. I was not having it, because I am a Pisces, but I have a lot of fire in my chart. I am stubborn, and I am, for every love, light, namaste, y'all, I have a little bit of fuck you, don't tell me what to do. I have like equal parts of that in my spirit. And I remember I was yelling at them, and I was I was sending a text message. I said this in the live last night. I was sending a text message, and I was just like, what's your name? And I'm like texting down, like, what's your name? And I'm trying to text the word have. And it keeps coming up, Gabe. And I'm like, who the fuck is Gabe? And I was like, and I like had this like thing in my head. I was like, oh my God, Gabriel? And the lights start flickering, and I was like, I just shit talked an archangel. Wow. Good job, Lauren. Good job. An archangel is the archangel of messengers. That's what he does. Michael's like, don't forget about me. I won't forget about you, Michael. And then I had kind of realized at that point that like what I thought were like my guides, like they are my guides, but it wasn't just like this blanket guide terms. What I was channeling or being instructed or guided by were archangels. And then they led me to Christina Aroche's channel, and she is an archangel channel. That's what she does. And through that, I got to learn about a lot more archangels. But then like individually, they sort of like started reaching out, which is why occasionally in my videos, you'll see me mention like Archangel Muriel or Archangel Barakiel or Uriel or Muriel or this, that, and the other thing, right? Because my guides, there's my higher self, right? Who also helps teach me and guide me, but I can tell the difference between my higher self and my angels, because my higher self is a sassy ass bitch, just like me, right? Like I'll be on one, and all of a sudden I'll just be like, quit the shit, and I'll be like, oh, that's me. But like that's because Michael doesn't talk to me like that. Gabriel does not talk to me like that. Muriel most certainly does not talk to me like that. Muriel is once, twice, 3 times an angel lady, forever and always. What do you want me to do next? I'll do these ones. Sure, that's fine. Separate these decks. So that's kind of like my journey of like how I figured out like who my guides were. Now at this point, I'm having like a hard time kind of putting like 2 and 2 together. I'm like, okay, well, Jesus, right? But also the council. But also lion people, like how does that all fit? Like, I don't understand really like how that all works, because I feel like I'm cheating on Jesus with the lion people, right? Like, and then I feel like when I'm with the lion people, I don't know how that works in with Jesus. Like, I don't really get it. And so over time, I was like doing more research and all of that kind of stuff. I actually have a really, it's not funny. I have a really interesting story about this mystical shaman deck and how I came to get it. I don't know if we will go over that today, but it is which kind of talks about me and the collective unconscious and more of my, maybe they want me to do like a couple of these videos. That the idea of that makes me nauseous, but whatever. I can like barely look at you guys in the eye, and it's just, can't let me look at myself. So I was, again, like I was saying, I was trying to like resonate the two. I was like, how does that even work? So I kind of started to look into it, and I started reading Sia Lanu Estrella. I started reading her book, The Rainbow Tablets, and beautiful, The Rainbow Tablets. And I had come to the knowledge, the realization that Lyrans, they're one of the highest vibrational beings, and what they operate on, and you've heard me talk about it in my readings a lot, is rainbow frequency. What a rainbow frequency, that's the Christos, which is Christ consciousness. And then if you go and you read the Bible, Christ is often talked about King Lion of Judah. And I realized that was the link. That was like the missing link between the two, the bridge, the rainbow bridge between the two that I hadn't quite understood, because I thought it was kind of like one or the other, and I didn't realize that they were actually very much linked. They were very much linked, and that made a lot more sense to me. And through that, I've been in contact and channeled like some of the other higher vibrational beings, but I just like to kind of stay in my lane, like with my people. If you know, or if you're kind of versed in any way about like the galactic wars or like anything like that, little things like that have always, they made sense to me after I learned about them. It's like I have, like for instance, I have like a strong aversion of reptiles. I have a very strong aversion to reptiles. All God's creatures, so, I would never harm them. I would just highly avoid them. And I realized, like, part of that for me was part of the, like, draconian wars, all of that stuff. Feelings of, like, never feeling at home, even when I was home, feelings of being displaced, right? A lot of that had come from the, like, Lyran massacres, like, not really having a home, all of that kind of stuff. I don't want to get into it, like, too much, because you can tell I don't want to, because I don't want to. Ancient Ones, beautiful. Russell had pulled this card for the Lyrans. And so that was kind of like the bridge for me. Now, as I had gone through this, I had all of a sudden started tapping into like past lives. And I realized it was the Lyrans and the archangels helping me do this, and it's come through in some of the personal readings. It came through in the Capricorn extended reading as well, which really surprised me, because normally on public platforms that doesn't come through for me, but as I was able to kind of bridge the gap between like who I am down here, what I am, like just different aspects of my abilities, like sort of like the origins of my soul separate from, you know, like they are than what they are down here. I don't know if it's just because a lot of it for me, honestly, I don't even understand, but as I was able to kind of crack into the higher levels of energy and frequency, it's almost as though like time and space like kind of became one. Time and space kind of became one. So instead of just being able to see like into the current energy or like soon into the future, like soon into the past for like the readings that I do like for the channel or for other people, it's almost as though I was able to just like continue to look back and back and back and back and back, and kind of see farther and farther and farther, not just for my clients or in terms of the reads, or even for myself, which again was sort of like as I bridged that gap of realizing those two things were the same. I was able to look further into the past of like my past lives and my different expressions of my soul that I've experienced before I'm here now. And so I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means I'm supposed to start doing like past life channelings on here, or I have absolutely no idea what it means. I don't know what a lot of this shit means. It overwhelms me. But like I said, there's so much of this that I guess I'm supposed to be like sharing or whatever. Arrow, happy Sagittarius season. Happy Sagittarius season. But I think that part of what's going on right now with the collective and like the grand conjunction and everyone collectively and individually moving up to higher timelines is, I think part of the reason why these higher dimensional beings are coming through for a lot of the channelers, a lot of the readers right now. I think that there's, somebody said it, I don't remember who, but I think there's a lot of like past life karma and stuff that's being cleared out. That's why, thank you. I was like, that's why they're having me bring up the past life things. Because there's a lot of like imbalances in people's past lives that are coming back around. They're being re-expressed now through the experiences that like you've already had in your life. And they're basically, it's like debts being settled and what's the word? What's the word? It's an R word. Not reciprocation. What's the word? I can't remember the word, but it's like when you get, somebody knows the word and they're yelling at their computer right now. Recompensation, maybe that's it. It's like a recompensation, rebalancing for whatever happened in your past life and the expression of how it's come around full circle for you in this life. And there's a settling of any debts that you owed and a recompensation for anything that's been owed to you, which is why with these new timelines moving forward, a lot of you and a lot of us are moving into more of a positive life, blessings, more abundance, more of that kind of stuff, that has been sort of promised. It's like we always talk about, like, God made you these promises and like, when are they coming in? Like, soon. They're coming in soon. Do you hear that? So that's part of what I think is going on with like the higher dimensional beings like coming in, because and it's like this extra like influx and wave of energy, and like Rob was talking about it, Russell's been talking about it, and like for me, I guess like there were like little breadcrumbs and blueprints that were like being laid out for me that like I didn't really understand, and as like time goes on, like it's almost like, honestly, for me it's like making like peace. And so it's like making peace with like what I am and like who I am and like where I come from and what I'm supposed to do and like all these different things. It's like even in Russell's video, I forget which one it was, maybe it was for the Seers, and he was talking about like the Tesla magic number, right? It's like 3, 6, 9, 10. Like, that's my birthday. My birthday's 3691, with 0 being the number of infinity, infinite potential. You know, it's like just like little things. Like, I'm a Pisces. Pisces is ruled by Neptune. I was born in a town called Neptune. It's just like little things like that, you know, and it's like they probably sound like so silly. Like, they probably sound so silly. But for me, they're like these little like Easter eggs that have kind of been like laid out for me that like over time kind of connect together. And so for me, I'm somebody that was always a little bit different. I was always a little bit different, but people around me always made sure to point out that I was different, and that it wasn't because I was like special, that like I was different because there was something like wrong with me. So it's like the further I go along in my journey and I realize like all of these other things that are like different about me, I have to make peace with those and like remind myself that like there's nothing wrong with that. Do you know what I mean? That it's like, you're not crazy. You're not a freak. It's like there's still pieces of that like matrix like dialogue that still kind of like linger around in the back of my mind. So they've been like working with me on that, and that might be part of the reason why. I'm sure there might be something in here for you guys that might trigger something for you, right? But I'm sure like this is part of one of my training day exercises, right? It's like coming out of your Lyran closet or something, right? It's like, my guides are the archangels, and you know, like for me it all sounds like so fucking hubris. Like I'm just like, oh, like I probably sound so fucking conceited, like, oh, I can't stand myself. And I'm like, no, it's just your truth. Like it's just your truth, Lauren. Like let people see like the wholeness of like what you are and like who you are and like what your journey has been, because it's been really painful. It's like I've earned, like you've earned your stripes. Like I've earned my stripes. Like that's why it's like I say that sometimes. I'm like, I got, you know, I had to walk through like a lot of shit in order to get so like love and light and, you know, the whole thing. But that's also my nature. Literally, like it's like where I come from, like energetically on a vibrational level, like that is like my home plate. So it's like down here I've had to, because all things in balance, I've had to experience like so much, and it's so that way I could understand like both ends. both it's fucking split, both ends of the spectrum, right? So that, you know, when I do healing work or energy work or I do things for people to be of service, right? That I not only like can have like sympathy for their pain, but like I can have empathy too, like because I know what it feels like. So yeah, I guess this is my video on how I can read people's past lives now and my experience with higher dimensional intergalactic beings in trance states, and how I'm starting to channel other consciousnesses that aren't mine or my higher self, and the processing of that and making peace with that, and expressing myself fully without throwing up. So that is where I'm gonna call it a day on this video. I feel like they do want me to tell you the story about the mystical shaman and how I came into possession of it, and it kind of links to my experiences with like the dream world and the collective unconscious, but that is a story for another day. So I'm gonna go eat some comfort food. I'm gonna eat my feelings. Yes, I am. I hope you guys enjoyed all of the weekly videos. I hope you have a wonderful new moon. And thank you if you made it through this whole video and you listened to me and you are not going to have me committed. And thank you. I very much appreciate you. I love you guys. Stay prayed up, stay blessed, stay sweet. I'll see you later.